Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome back to the poem of the day for today, Monday, August 25th, 2025. If you joined us yesterday, then you know that we are amidst a series on Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner from 1798. And yesterday we had part one. If you're just joining today and didn't listen yesterday, I would recommend going back and listening to that one first. Otherwise, just hearing part two, you'll be a little bit lost. But as a quick recap, in part one, we open on a wedding banquet scene, and then this wild and mad mariner crashes the wedding and comes in and insists on telling this story, um, despite the kind of reluctance of the wedding guests to listen, and then they become kind of enthralled in his tale. And he tells a story about setting sail on a ship, and things seemed to be going fine until they got stuck in the fog and the ice in this truly desolate and dead place. And then an albatross appears, and in their kind of crazed wonderment, they begin to treat this albatross as an omen of like a Christian soul, good tidings from God, because there's a south wind that comes through and blows and sets them free. But then right at the end of part one, we learn that the mariner who is telling the story killed the albatross with a crossbow. And that's where we're left. So today we're going to read part two and find out if this was just a merry hunting expedition or what sort of terrors befell the mariner after his decision to kill the bird. So this is part two of Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and it's starting at line 83. The sun now rose upon the right. Out of the sea came he, still hid in mist, and on the left went down into the sea. And the good south wind still blew behind, but no sweet bird did follow, nor any day for food or play came to the mariner's hollow. And I had done a hellish thing, and it would work 'em woe, for all averred I had killed the bird that made the breeze to blow. Ah, wretch, they said, the bird to slay that made the breeze to blow. Nor dim nor red like God's own head the glorious sun uprist. Then all averred I had killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. 'Twas right, said they, such bird to slay that bring the fog and mist. The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. Down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down. 'Twas sad as sad could be, and we did speak only to break the silence of the sea. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon, right up above the mast did stand, no bigger than the moon. Day after day, day after day, we stuck, nor breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Water, water, everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water, everywhere, nor any drop to drink. The very deep did rot. O Christ, that this should ever be. Yea, slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. About, about, in reel and rout, the death fires danced at night. The water, like a witch's oils, burnt green and blue and white. And some in dreams assured were of the spirit that plagued us so. 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow. And every tongue, through utter drought, was withered at the root. We could not speak, no more than if we had been choked with soot. Ah, well a day, what evil looks had I from old and young. Instead of the cross, the albatross about my neck was hung. All right. So part 2 is a little bit shorter than part 1, and it follows a very similar poetic structure, very similar rhythm and meter. Although, as opposed to part 1, there's more play and experimentation with those quatrains. Right away in the, third and fourth stanza, we go into those 4-line stanzas out of quatrains. The sixth has 5 lines. One of them is slightly indented. The second one, down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down. And we also get, I think, a lot more strange imagery or ominous imagery as opposed to the first part of the poem describing the sun making its path, rising from east to west, sitting up at noon. Now we have the sun almost being as small as the moon, as though it's receding from the earth, which obviously couldn't happen. I mean, it would throw gravity and the tides all into asunder, and we know the sun doesn't move. But as they're becoming more and more mad and opposed to the antagonism of nature, time is seeming out of joint. Nature is seeming to have a sinister spirit that's conspiring against them. And we also get, with this cabin fever that they're having, how quickly the crew's loyalties and their understanding changes. They're deeply paranoid. They sometimes cling towards loyalty. They often very much as quickly turn away. At the very beginning of part 2, right, all the shipmates cry out against him for killing the bird because the bird was good luck. It says, you've done this hellish thing that made the breeze to blow. But then 2 stanzas later, no, not 2 stanzas later. Yeah, no, 1 stanza later, sorry. They begin to, as the fog clears off, they begin to go, oh, actually, it was a good thing you killed him because he brought the fog and the snow and the mist. So it was a good thing he was avenged. And this sort of makes them accomplices in his crime. But I think it's striking just how quickly, within the span of about 5 lines, they change from thinking, you've done this absolutely horrible thing by killing this, Christian bird that set us free, to, oh, wait, actually, that was the right thing to do because, look, he actually he's the one that got us caught there. And so they're always completely behind nature and using nature as a way to explain things that correlate. And I think it just gets us in the headspace of when you're desperate and lonely and lost and terrified and hungry and thirsty, that you'll begin to kind of cling to any of these sort of superstitions. And yet they seem to perhaps be right around line 120, at least their first one, their first impression. We get the day after day after day. And it doesn't seem as though they're moving at all. You're out in the ocean and you just see horizon day to night with no land. And so it begins to feel as though you're not moving at all and that time's not moving at all. He describes them as a painted ship upon a painted ocean, feeling as though we're stuck in time and space, like a still image. And then there's water all around that seems to be shrinking the space of the boat and making them more confined and claustrophobic, but also not allowing them any sustenance. They can't drink it. And the sea creatures are then described as slimy things crawling throughout the sea. The water itself is described as being oil-like and burning like a witch's cauldron with these green and blue and white colors in them. And so by the end of this second part, they are seeing that they're believing that the albatross is being avenged, that nature is responding back to his cruel and unnecessary act of violence against it, and that's what's causing them to be stuck here. And so what they do at the end of it is they hang the dead bird around his neck. And again, we're left at the end of this part with a direct contact between the speaker, the mariner in this case, and the bird. At the beginning, it's him shooting it, and that's kind of our cliffhanger. And here, it's they hang it around his neck, which becomes kind of a colloquial phrase within English of, the albatross around your neck, which I believe originates here. I could be wrong about that, but so now it's, as a symbol, it's quite literally the thing that's going to drag him down, but is also a kind of scarlet letter that represents his guilt. And it's something that they need as like a public shaming or a public reminder. So this becomes a very kind of ritualized scapegoating for them. We'll return tomorrow with part 3 to see if this marking of him has any further effect of nature's response. And I hope you'll join us again tomorrow, and that you enjoyed part 2. And may peace be with you all.